that it was energy work and
Mm,
that it was just talking so generally that it was
mm,
hard to grasp what it was and what the benefits were of doing Reiki. And
mm,
so you kind of mentioned in our conversation earlier that there's there's those misperceptions of people not quite understanding because
mm.
they are just reading online, and that was me.
Yeah, but I
Is
think, yeah,
yeah.
everybody need to pick up information first on the internet, right? Because this is how it is working every
Mm,
in our life. So yeah, but I think I first time I encounter with Reiki is almost about, yeah, now it's counting like almost 20 years because now it's 2026. So I'm started like 28. So yeah.
mm,
But then that time, of course, there's no AI, but definitely I can check everything in the internet. But the time internet works a little bit slower. And what I
mm,
found was Reiki, it is much less, much smaller numbers than I do now, I guess. Yeah.
mm,
So, but I think based on my own experience, because I went to the first school, so I learned Reiki, Usui Reiki in Tokyo, and then I found it very interesting, and the Reiki is really effective for me, so I can start hands practice with my family
mm,
or myself. So I really appreciate the teacher that I really could practice Reiki after the attunement course. But then after the attunement course, actually, I also wanted to find more places to practice with other people. That's quite little. Yeah, I couldn't
mm,
find any like a kind of Reiki practice gathering or group Reiki practice or these kind of things. It's really not happening much. So I need to find out
mm,
more. And then the second time I encountered with Japan Reiki Association. So first time I went to the Guru Reiki practice, then I really surprised that so many practice I have never done. So I didn't really think that this was a scam and then, the first school was bad. Like, no, definitely not.
mm,
But then after I went to the second school, I purely understand that some of the contents I think I didn't learn. And definitely I'm a kind of lack of practice. Yeah.
mm.
But that's point made me even more passionate about Reiki. So I really wanted to know more about Reiki. Yeah, and then is even interesting thing was because after I decided to, yeah, I want to be a teacher. So I
Mm,
took the teacher training and I came to Hong Kong and then I start teaching Reiki here in Hong Kong. Then I also met many different people. And sometimes,
mm,
like as you mentioned, like so many misunderstandings or misconception, that kind of story, they are actually a lot. I heard the people saying about that. Yeah.
mm.
So yeah, it is so easy to, for people to misunderstand what is this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So you are quite smooth transition, is it? I don't know about learning Reiki.
Um,
Mm,
I think so because I already had practices like I was
mm,
meditating and I'm a yoga practitioner and teacher also. And so
mm.
like there's concepts that are just said a little differently, but they're very similar. And so I felt like
Mm,
Reiki was really easy to grasp because it was, for me, it was like a bridge between my different
mm,
practices. Like I didn't quite understand
mm,
sometimes what I was going for. And then when I brought in Reiki, it was like, oh, this is the feeling of like deep meditation, for example, or
mm,
this is the feeling of flow, of energy flow, like that we are trying to get when we're practicing asana in Reiki. So, or in yoga. So for me, it was definitely, I
mm,
would say, once I once I had it done
mm,
to me,
mm,
so the experience of it, it was like, oh, I need to do this way more,
mm,
and I need
mm,
to get involved. And then that was in Hong Kong at the time, of course, but
mm,
um, it was just such a good fit for the very reasons you're saying of like
mm,
I felt like,
mm,
again, it was the bridge between my practices, but also
mm,
because we had group practices and I could
mm,
continually practice, like those were things that I
mm,
had practiced in my other
mm,
um, kind of studies, if you
mm,
will. And so coming into that was also like, okay, I recognize this type of practice and can do this with other people and hear their experiences and
mm,
be kind of validated for also practicing Reiki. I think that's important with a story is
mm,
Reiki's not meant to be
mm,
complex or make you suffer. And
mm.
so
Right.
I think
Mm,
that was part of my experience with it. So even that was like,
mm,
yeah, that like confirmed a lot of things instead of being a
mm,
negative. It was really positive for me.
mm.
Yeah.